There's always an opportunity to learn from every situation you come across in your life, right? We are dealing with one of the more unprecedented circumstances, not just in the NFL this season, not just in the NFL in recent history, but all time in sports history. And that is a player actively participating in a game and almost losing his life. And before we get into anything further about Damar Hamlin and everything that's gone on with this situation, I want to first start with this video by saying, of course, we are thinking of him. And by we, I mean everybody that I talk to. I'm encouraging them, to keep track of it, keep updated. I've personally donated to his toy drive fund on GoFundMe. If you haven't and you've thought about it or you've heard about it, I will put the link in the description below to donate to Damar Hamlin's toy drive GoFundMe page, because the goal started at $2,500 and it's raised like something over $5 million. Amazing situation. That's number one. Number two, I don't have monetization on in my channel, but if I did and you saw an ad before this video, I'm not getting any of that money. But if I did, if I got the money, I wouldn't just accept it and somehow try to make a profit off of the situation. I don't think that's legitimate. I don't think that's responsible. And so that's not the case. If you saw an ad, I'm not getting any of that money. And if I did get the money, I would just take whatever I earned from this video and send it straight to that GoFundMe. That's the best place I feel like I could send any money that I'd be getting with this, but I'm not. So I'm not trying to profit off of this. What I'm trying to do is take this as an opportunity to educate some people about, probably more than anything, what we can learn from this situation, right? Because it's unprecedented. Damar Hamlin's heart stopped on the field, on the football field. Most people were watching the game on Monday Night Football between the Bills and the Bengals. It was highly anticipated. I was so pumped for it. It's a potential AFC championship matchup. But the problem is, we do get caught up so much and so frequently and so easily in just the part of the fact that it's a sport. Now, of course, when you turn on the NFL, you're also not expecting somebody's heart to stop while the game is going on, right? From what I understand and what I can kind of put together using all the different pieces about this situation specifically, is that it was a freak accident for the most part, right? I mean, that type of hit, that type of collision between two different players seemingly happens, dozens and dozens and dozens of times every single game. So for Damar Hamlin's heart to stop on the field, obviously very rare and never anticipated. But when that stuff happens, everybody has an opportunity. Everybody. I do. You guys do, watching this video, to react to it or to control your actions afterwards to minimize damage in the situation. Because even somebody like me, I have no relation to Damar Hamlin. Nobody knows me in the Hamlin family, the Bills, and all these different things. I still have the opportunity to not cause more damage. Unfortunately, we came across a few different people, and it was this very, very small number of people, which is great. But a small number of people weren't able to prioritize the right things in this situation. Now, I don't know specifically what the absolute best thing to do is. I don't know. I'm not qualified to give that kind of advice. But what I do know is the way that certain people went about it, even if their intentions were not harmful, they still caused a lot of damage. Guys like Skip Bayless, right? He's a huge talking point. He put out a tweet that I quote tweeted on my own feed, and he sent it, minutes after basically it was determined that Damar Hamlin, needed to be essentially resuscitated on the field. It was a really serious situation. More than likely, the game was going to be canceled. And he came out to tweet, this is his words directly, and I'm going to read it exactly how it came out. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? this late in the regular season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome. ... Which suddenly seems so irrelevant. Now, when I first read that, right, I'm like, this guy doesn't care. He just cares about the game. And that's what a lot of people's reactions were too. He's since come out and basically kind of clarified his comments and made sure we understood and realized that the irrelevant part of that, like the part at the end where he says it all suddenly seems so irrelevant, he wanted to emphasize that to make sure people knew, like, I guess, where he's coming from. I initially went off on Skip and I didn't call for it, but I said, I hope, or I think he, this is something that may cause him to lose his job. I don't think he's going to lose his job. I don't think he should lose his job. But what I do think he can do, and the point of this video, is that every situation has opportunity for learning. And what we can learn is what Skip Bayless did is not the right way to go about things. The NFL can, and in my opinion, probably just should push everything back a week. Everything. Logistically, it's not hard. It's not going to lose anybody any money. You're still going to get your games in, and it gives you an opportunity to let the Bills and the Bengals, in some capacity, depending on the circumstances of Damar Hamlin, at least vote on it as two different teams and potentially as in a collective unit of whether they want to continue that game. I'm guessing otherwise they'll probably just list it off as a tie. I don't know. And to be honest with you, I don't think anything should happen, especially with those two teams, but even maybe at a more broad perspective for the entire league, until Damar Hamlin's situation is, I don't want to say resolved, like that's a negative connotation, like, oh, well, he just, if he just passes away, well, then we'll just move on. No, of course not. I'm just saying, it sounds like with everything that's going on with Damar Hamlin, it's all trending in a positive direction, which is great. His breathing is better. His oxygen levels are higher. He's stable. All the indications are he's going to, he's heading in the right direction. So if we let time take its course and we let him recover fully, or at least give him, a week. Give the guy a week to recover from, I don't know, his heart stopping. I feel like that's pretty fair. I feel like that's pretty legitimate. So I think the NFL should just move everything back a week, give the players enough time to meet with the professionals that they need to meet with to feel better about the situation, for the league players to feel better about the situation. And hopefully over that time period, we continue to receive more and more positive updates on Damar Hamlin and his situation. But the best way to make the situation worse is what Skip Bayless did and a few other people did, which was prioritize scheduling, the game, the NFL as a league, and the playoff implications and the seeding. All that stuff can be figured out really easily. And it probably will be figured out really easily if they just give the guy some time, give the league some time, give the players some time to just rectify this situation however they feel like they need to comfortably. Some guys need more than a week. Some guys need more than a week. That's why you have a players union. That's why you have players in the league. The players are the product. Send it out to the league as a vote. Every single player on the active roster gets an opportunity to vote on this. How long should we suspend operations? Option A, no problem, ready to go this weekend. If so, great. Option B, let's just move things back a week or so, and then I feel like I'll be ready to go with the proper guidance. Option C, I need a couple weeks, man. And that's probably more so for the Bills players, I feel like, because they were on the field watching their teammate get resuscitated. It's traumatizing. I don't know what would be going through my head. Like, dude, this guy's about to die on the field. This is the worst thing ever. Maybe those guys need a couple weeks. If they need a couple weeks, and so be it. And I don't know what the NFL would even do in a situation where, like, what they could do, what they can do. The Bills came out and they're like, dude, we're not going to play for a while. Okay. Then that's how it's going to be. But people prioritizing the league, people prioritizing the games, the money, the scheduling, I can promise you is not the best way to go about it. I don't know what the best way is, but I can tell you it doesn't hurt, and it's advantageous for everybody if you just keep him in your prayers, you prioritize his health, his well-being. And I don't blame anybody. I'm not going to sit here and tell people like, hey, if you've moved on or you're moved, resumed with your normal life and daily routine, that's fine. I have for the most part. But another reason why I didn't want to be posting content on my YouTube, I put out a TikTok reacting to losing my bet against or in the USC Tulane college football game. Put that out hours before and haven't put anything up since then, even though I had a few pieces of content queued up. Same thing with YouTube. I felt like resuming my normal cadence and content pushing. If you have, it's fine. But I just didn't feel like I wanted to. I just didn't want to come across and didn't want to be insensitive, because I feel like it's a really, really sensitive situation, and you just skip over it and go, here's the power rankings. Here's our episode, of the Phenomenal Fan podcast. And oh, by the way, college football playoff was awesome. And Stetson Bennett sucks. Like that's not the priority right now. And yes, at some point, whether it's, an ACL injury or a head injury, like life will go on, right? If it comes out that Damar Hamlin, is in stable condition, but it's not anticipated that he's going to be waking up in weeks, I don't expect people to just pause their lives for months and months at a time, right? That's not logistically possible. It's not realistic. But I think a week is reasonable. While other things still go on, man. College football still going on. NBA still going on. College basketball still but the league itself and the NFL should pause for a week and just give everybody a little bit of time. Give Damar Hamlin a little bit of time to heal. Give the players that were directly and indirectly involved a little bit of time to rectify the situation, seek the professional help that they need, and act in the best interest of the player. It sounds like he's stable. It sounds like he's trending in the right direction. He meaning Damar Hamlin. And all we can do at this point is hope and pray for the best. But as a learning opportunity for everybody, if you ever find yourself in this situation, whether you're a person with 2 followers on Twitter or 2 million followers on Twitter, always, always, always prioritize the human being over the product or the money. Always. And if you don't, I'm really sorry. And I feel bad for you. Of course, the thought crossed a lot of people's minds. When are they going to play this game again? When are they going to get this game in? I don't know. And it doesn't really matter when they're going to get the game in. Because if Damar Hamlin faces what may be a worst case scenario situation, and thankfully it sounds like it's not going to be that at all. If that's the case, then when are they going to play the game again? I don't know. Those players are going to have to go through like weeks of grieving and a funeral. Like, I mean, obviously that's, sounds like, again, that's not going to be the case, but just push it back a week, man. Just push it back a week. And also, as a learning opportunity, I know I said it already, just don't prioritize the money and the league and the sport over the human being's life. And that's something I think everybody, including myself, is guilty of, especially when these guys get carted off with a concussion or ACL, broken, bone, something like that. We always are like, well, who's going to fill it? Who's going to fill in it? What does that mean for the team? I don't know. And those injuries, yes, aren't as maybe life-threatening or as serious, but you have situations like that, and you have players like Tua Tagovailoa who's had multiple head injuries now in just 1 year. What does that mean for him as a human being over the span of his life? We don't know. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I sit here and I want to make sure that this is emphasized. We spend all this time and we talk about teams and players and coaches and leagues and different people. And I use language and I say stuff where I'm like, man, this guy sucks. This guy's terrible. USC, I did it even, in my TikTok, and I do it, everybody does it in a lot of their content. These guys suck. They're horrible. Get them off the field. I want to make sure this is understood at the end, and this is the last thing I'll leave you guys with. That is all in the context of talking about them as specifically athletic performers. It has nothing to do with their character as people. I will never wish bad upon anybody. And I think that's important to emphasize and understand, that we spend all this time trashing these teams and ranking them and assigning them numeric values. When a situation like this Damar Hamlin gentleman unfolds in front of everybody on national television, none of that's important. So I want to make sure that I have a perspective and that I understand that that's how it is. And I want to make sure you guys know that too. Those of you who do consume my content or end up seeing any of my content at any point. Human beings always first. And unfortunately, we've come across some people that haven't prioritized the human beings, and that is a piece of advice I can give, which is don't be that guy. Otherwise, man, I hope you guys can take something from this video. You can understand how to improve, how we can all improve as a society moving forward. And we are wishing the absolute best for Damar Hamlin and his family and everything that's, everybody that's impacted by this. I will put the link in my bio for his GoFundMe. If you feel like contributing, great. If you don't, just be sure to keep him in your thoughts, and fingers crossed for some great news that comes out, as it sounds like it's improving on a daily basis. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next video.